What's up, everybody? This is Matt and Misfit. Welcome to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Tonight, we are going to do the AEW review for September the 14th, 2022. We had the finals of the AEW World Title, not the finals, the semifinals of the AEW World Title tournament. That's supposed to be the finals taking place at Grand Slam. We had the Grand Slam Go Home show. We had women's tag team match featuring the AEW Women's Champion, Toni Storm. We had a promo from MJF. We had three killer matches actually on the show. We had an AEW tag team title match on the show between Swerve and Glory and the Lucha Brothers. We're gonna go through all that here and more. If you like what you see here, please hit the subscribe button below. Also hit the like and the bell notification if you want to see my future reviews and all that stuff. I do have an announcement to make at the end of the show, so I'm going to let you guys know about that, about what I said on Raw, about the uh, uh, retro reviews. I'll talk about that a little bit later. If you haven't seen the Raw review, it's up now on the channel. We go over Raw, quickly go over last week's Dynamite and SmackDown. I will be covering SmackDown this weekend, hopefully. So there's all that. If you want to follow me on social media or follow this podcast on social media, it's at Misfit Wrestle TV on the social media. Link will be in the description below or in the comments below if I forget to put in the description. Either one works for me. So let's talk about this show here. Dynamite was actually a pretty good show. It usually is. They're still in this period where they don't have the Bucks, they don't have Kenny Omega, they don't have CM Punk. They are still on suspension. Kenny Omega is in Japan right now. Was originally going to be a part of the AEW Fight Forever show at I believe it's Japan, the Japan Expo thing. Let me talk about that real quick. Let me bring that up here. Tokyo Game Show 2022. It was supposed to be Kenny Omega there. The names announced who have come back from their suspension, and looks like Christopher Daniels, Riho, Michael Nakazawa, Takeshita, Yuka Sakazaki, Maki Ito, Chris Brooks, Hikari Noyo, Agane Shinoro, Yuki Ununo. So those will be the names. And when I saw this list, I originally thought I saw Maki Ito's name on this list, and I got excited because I thought she was announced for the video game. So I hope she makes it. She'll probably be in the video game. Probably. I mean, I would love to see Maki Ito in the video game. Maki Ito, by the way, she released an English version of her theme song, so I hope you guys check it out. I believe she did that for when she comes over to the States and people want to sing her song with her. So that works out very well. But yeah, Dynamite was from Albany, New York tonight. This will be their last. Well, for me, because I'm not going to be reviewing Rampage, but I can talk about the spoilers here. I'm going to do it here. So spoilers ahead. I will talk about that at the end, near the end of the show. But what's happening at Grand Slam coming out of Rampage. So this is technically the last stop before Grand Slam 2. We had two world title semifinals between Jericho and Danielson, and Moxley and Sammy Guevara. And then we had originally it was supposed to be Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb and Dr. Britt Baker. They did another stupid angle with her, with injury angle with Hikaru Shida. I get it. I understand that she has Maki, right? But if she was supposed to be there the whole time, why bother announce her for the show? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, so Dynamite opens with the first semifinals match: Moxley versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara comes out without Ty Conti. Gets massive boos. People hate him. Obviously, I don't really like him that much as a person either. At this point, I used to like Sammy Guevara, but now he's becoming a terrible person to be around. Apparently, that's the rumor. And then Moxley came out. massive pop for Moxley. Moxley is super over. This man was going to be taking 3 weeks off, or 6 weeks off for a vacation. And then the whole shit with the CM Punk went down, and the Bucks and Omega. And being knowing shows you how much of a company man is, and a locker room leader that man is. Comes up, puts his vacation on a hold, and then come back to do this stuff. So this is a fun match. We had a good spot here. We had a suicide dive on the outside from Sammy Guevara to Moxley, which looked like he killed Moxley. And at one point he brought back the original version of the Dirty Deeds, which I believe is the headlock driver. I believe that's the original Dirty Deeds. Yes, it was the pile driver. So on the ring apron, he hit another Dirty Deeds on the ring apron, which was a pretty good Moxley hit that on the there. The match basically ended in a very good way. So Sammy went for the GTH, but countered into the there was a spot in the match where so he countered the GTH into a bulldog choke of but Sammy countered that into the Spanish Fly for a 2 count. This is awesome. Champ breaks out. Ty Conti and Anna Jay at one point come out, storm into the ring. Anna Jay jumped on the ring apron and basically just distracting the referee. Ty Conti had entered the ring. Low blowed Moxley. Sammy tried to cover Moxley, but Mox kicked out. Sammy then jumped with a senton, atomic hair, but Moxley dodged it. Then Sammy tried to go for another GTH. Moxley countered into the Death Rider for the pin, and Moxley is advancing to the finals next week at Arthur Ashe in Queens, New York. So that's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top, given the finals of who won earlier in the night. Then MJF comes out. Following that with an MJF promo, he's running down John Moxley and calling fans words that I will not be repeating here. MJF also starts talking about Jericho and Bryan Danielson. Basically, he's never beaten any of these guys, which is crazy to know. I don't think he's ever actually wrestled Danielson yet. So I'm assuming we'll see that. But then later on he introduced the new group, which is Hathaway's new group, Stokely Hathaway's new group, the Firm, which is the Gun Club, which the Ass Boys, W. Morrissey, Leo Moriarty, and Ethan Page. All Egon Page, or whatever you want to call them. They're sort of a group, but not really. Based on what they said here, they're going to be sort of the backup for MJF, but not really. Their goals are to go for the tag titles and all that stuff. Ethan Page is looking to challenge Pac for the All Atlantic Championship. I would love to see that. I love Ethan Page; he's great. So that should be very, very interesting here. So next up, we had Jungle Boy Jack Perry open contract. It's going to be after the events of All Out, where Jungle Boy got his ass whooped by Luchasaurus. It was Jungle Boy versus Jay Leith. Jay Leith opened signed the open contract. It was a quick, fun little match. Not something too excited to talk about. Jungle Boy won with the snare trap, as he should, and builds towards that Luchasaurus match, probably at Full Gear, because Christian will be out for a while. He did actually, I believe he tore something. He tore something. That's all I know. Next up, we have a video package from Hook, the FTW champion Hook and Action Bronson. They'll be taking on Who will they be taking on next week? I think they're taking on 2.0 next week. I could be wrong. On Grand Slam. I'll have to look that up. Backstage, Ethan Page is making an example of Danhausen, who we saw Luigi, the pizza man, the pizza meme dude, gets his ass whooped by Ethan Page. Danhausen interrupts. So it's going to be Danhausen versus Ethan Page on Rampage if you guys want to check that out. Matt Hardy challenged Darby Allin to a match on Friday on Rampage. I guess Powerhouse Hobbs destroyed a motherfucker. Planted with a spout, basically just destroyed him with a spine buster. Cut a promo about it all out. Now somewhat putting over Ricky Starks, but not really. Powerhouse Hobbs is going to want to move on, he says. But Ricky Starks comes down to the ring through the crowd, jump in the ring and hit Hobbs with bear shots. Hobbs jolts out of the ring, and we're getting close to that rematch. Don't know when that rematch is going to take place. We'll find out. Ricky Starks is super over as a babyface. I love it. Then we had an unexpected match. I wasn't expected to be on the show. We had the AAA Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers, or 2/3 of the Trios Champions, Lucha Brothers, take on Swerve and Glory for the AEW World Tag Team Titles. This match is incredible, as you should. You have 2, 3, 4 of the best wrestlers on the planet in the ring, as both, and Swerve and Glory, like I said, are coming in on their own as a tag team. I love the dynamic of Swerve being the heel and Keith Lee being the babyface. And when that team eventually implodes, it's going to be great for Keith Lee. Keith Lee is going to be a fantastic babyface a fantastic single star when that happens. There was a spot in the match I was surprised by, so I don't remember who had hit it first. Swerve hit something on, I believe it was Penta, and then Phoenix came off with a freaking Canadian Destroyer on Keith Lee, but Keith Lee, later on in the match, basically the end of the match, Keith Lee hit the Bing Bang catastrophe for the win to retain the championships. Afterwards, the Acclaim come out, basically said, Grand Slam, we're going to kick their ass, we're going to take their tag titles. I hope so, because I would pull the trigger on the Acclaim next week. We try to get, Alvarez tries to get the interview with Death Triangle next. Pac basically doesn't want to talk about it. Orange Cassidy blindsides him with Superman Punch. Told Pac he would be double champion for long. So I believe we're going to be having. I believe it was announced that it's going to be Pac versus Orange Cassidy at Grand Slam for the AEW All Atlantic Championship. They're building this show like a pay-per-view. Next up, we have the AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm and Athena, who's taking the place of Hikaru Shida. Don't get me started on that. Versus Serena Deeb, and I already have a problem with this match. Toni Storm gets pinned by fucking Serena Deeb because why? After the match, Britt Baker and Serena Deeb trying to beat down Athena and Toni Storm. Out comes Jamie Hayter to a massive pop. Jamie Hayter grabs the chair from Britt Baker, and then hits Toni Storm with the chair twice, and then looks at Britt Baker. He's still not happy with Britt Baker. Jamie Hayter chants start breaking out. Jamie Hayter will not accept Britt Baker's apology, nor should she, because when they officially pull the trigger on her as a babyface, I run with it. And I would have her win the TBS championship from Jade Cargill. That's just me. And my issue with this here is that the AEW Women's Championship does not need to be involved with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. You do not need to have the AEW Women's title be overshadowed again by a Britt Baker storyline. As much as I love Jamie Hayter, does not need it. You can do 2 women's stories at once. Like, that's allowed, Tony Khan. I just don't like that. And then Tony Khan had the nerve announce to make it another fatal 4-way at Grand Slam for the Women's Championship. We just had a fatal 4-way last weekend at All Out where Tony Storm won the title. This better not be a way to put the title on Britt Baker, just so that feud can be for the championship. It doesn't need it right now. Maybe whenever they do the rubber match. Who knows? Whenever they do the rubber match, I guess whatever. Later down the road, that feud could be for the title. I hated that so freaking much. And then we had the main event for the other semifinals match. Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson. These two have an incredible chemistry with each other. This was Bryan Danielson is one of the best workers on the planet, one of the best sellers on the planet. At one point he made me legit think he was hurt. That's how good he is. These two had a really good match at All Out, so I expected nothing less from them here. Bryan Danielson goes at one point. I believe went for so Bryan Danielson hit a hurricane run off the top turnbuckle on Jericho at one point. German suplex. Oh no, hold on, let me rephrase that. Jericho hit Danielson with a hurricane run off the top turnbuckle. Bryan retaliated with the German suplex, and I love when he hits those German suplexes. Danielson locked in the cattle mutilation. Bryan dropped the hammer and anvil strikes the strikes you see him and Moxley start doing. Jericho managed to land a left hand on Bryan's temple. Danielson shook after the running knee. Didn't go for the canniver, which is interesting. And then at one point, Jericho hit a chop. So I'm trying to remember where in fact is okay. So Jericho then hit Bryan, suplexed Bryan over the top rope, but Bryan landed on the floor, which that's where that knee spot come in, which is I love and hate when he does that because sometimes he makes me think he's actually hurt. He grabbed his ankle. Jericho, being the veteran he is, goes after that and he also hits he applies a figure four on the ring apron, a la Bret the Hitman Hart. And then in the ring, Danielson crawled for trying to get away from Jericho or try to pull himself up. And then applied another figure four in the ring. Jericho got out of it. Bryan transitioned into the label lock, and then Jericho tapped out for the win. So it's going to be, it is going to be Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley for the vacant AEW Championship at Grand Slam. I cannot wait for that match because their first match at Revolution was awesome. My second favorite match of that night after Punk and MJF. So here's what Grand Slam looks like right now. So we have Moxley and Bryan for the vacant AEW World Title. We have Swerve and Glory versus the Acclaim for the AEW Tag Titles. Tony Storm, Serena Deeb, Athena, and Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship. Pac and Orange Cassidy for the All Atlantic Championship. And for Rampage next week, we have Action Bronson and Hook versus Up 2.0. Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. I believe there was more stuff announced for not Dynamo, sort of. So one of the matches announced for, I'm assuming one of these matches was announced for Grand Slam. So on Rampage, if you guys don't want to know spoilers, skip this part ahead if you want. It's up to you guys. I'm warned you right now. 3, 2, 1. Okay. We got Claudio Castagnoli will be putting his ROH World Title on the line against Chris Jericho at Grand Slam, and Diamante will be challenging Jade Cargill for the TBS title. I don't know if that's going to be on Rampage or if that's going to be on actual AEW Grand Slam. So that should be fun. That should be fun. Also, next week's I know for Grand Slam we have Darby Allin and Sting versus Buddy Matthews and Brody King of House of Black. So that's all next week for Grand Slam and Rampage. I again, AEW Dynamite was a very good show. I'm actually glad I'm going to be able to get through these weekly. So that should be fun. We got SmackDown this coming week. What is up for SmackDown this coming week? So we have the fallout from the whole thing with carrying Cross and Drew McIntyre. We have the bloodline grows in gold, where Solo Sikoa last night. Oh, you're listening to this on NXT won the North American Championship. NXT is being rebranded back to Black and Gold. That's going to be happening on October the 4th. They are taping. They taped 2 weeks in television, so it looks like they're gonna. From my understanding, they're gonna be reconstructing or reconfiguring the PC to a new set and design and everything. Hopefully, I want them to go back to the black ring mat, the black ring skirt. The if they want to use the yellow ropes, that's fine. If they want to use the takeover ropes that they use, the white ropes, that's fine by me. Give me a new set that looks like a little bit of the old NXT with something new involved. I don't mind the darkened arena because that's what made NXT stand out. But that's because Triple H was in charge of NXT and Vince was running the main roster. That's the way it's different. If Triple H wants to do something like that or do something new, that's all welcome there. We also got the Fatal 4-Way tag match to determine the next challengers for the Usos. So that's SmackDown. My announcement on the retro reviews is I did a poll, and yes, I will be doing retro reviews for the channel. Retro pay-per-view reviews for things like the old school WWF pay-per-views or the Ruthless Aggression era pay-per-views, ECW pay-per-views. Not one I'm not going to be doing, will never be doing is December to Dismember. That's never happening. I'm telling you that right now. WCW pay-per-views, good pay-per-views. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm going to be doing good pay-per-views. Probably not doing terrible pay-per-views. Yeah, maybe something from Ring of Honor's past. Maybe something from New Japan's past. I might even do a Stardom review. Who knows? An old school Stardom review. Who knows? Weekend. So I am thinking. I'm also thinking on the weekends to do a quick, like, other news stuff based on like other things that are going on, like New Japan Pro Wrestling, what's happening there, the current standings in the 5-star Grand Prix for Stardom, which I believe last time I checked is doing good stuff. Hazuki is still at the top. I believe the current so Azumi's no longer at the top, so it's like Himiki and Hazuki are at the top. So the Red Stars block. Himiki has 12, and Hazuki's still at the top with 14. Right underneath that is Sayaka Katami. She's at 12. Azumi underneath that is 12. Micah is slowly getting up the ranks. Micah, hopefully, I would love to see Micah at the top. I kind of want to see Micah versus Hazuki in the finals. Because before Hazuki got up in the finals, like originally my pick to win this tournament was Micah, not Mikey, Micah. But now it looks like it's going to be Hazuki. Hope this is the one they're going with, which is fine. I love Hazuki. She's doing great stuff. Um, Probably people are going to ask me on my opinion on the PWI 500 top 10. I have a few things to say about it, which I don't agree with their way of thinking, because they said Moxley missed 2 months of television, right? And they used their excuse was because of the rehab, and they said that's why he wasn't in the it was their basic reason why he wasn't in there, even though has missed time this entire year, uh, due to his broken neck. Um, Cody Rhodes missed like 3 months due to after leaving AEW and has been gone since June, I believe. Then then it was another one. Bobby Lashley missed a few months of television as well because after after the Elimination Chamber. So, but those three are in the top 10. But John Moxley is not even. John Moxley didn't even make the not top 5. What? That's I don't understand that whole thing. But yeah, that was Dynamite, and that is my review of AEW's Dynamite, September 14th, 2022. I will be like I said, I'll be back here for SmackDown on Friday, and then um and then I will hopefully start doing roundup stuff on Saturday for, like I said, other news when it comes to the wrestling, what's going on there. Also, stuff for talk about a little bit of Stardom, New Japan, all that stuff. Until then, peace out, guys.